Hey, thanks for coming today, man.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome back, Manny Lubin, to the Rondi Show. We changed the name and we X'd somebody from the podcast. We won't mention names. Actually, he X'd himself. Should we talk about that? Should we?
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking about that.
I invited him.
I know.
For
And
you.
you don't want to come,
It's
man.
too cool now.
No, he's on to bigger and better. He's down the shore right now, having a blast. But since we spoke, a lot has been going on with this little milk company called Slate. Give me some of the biggest updates you guys got going on right now.
Oh man, it's been what, 2 or 3 years?
I want to see you were like the fourth guest we've had on.
Who's the first?
We just did like a solo. We did 2 solo episodes, and then you might have been the first, actually, or maybe like one other person. You were there. You were up there. You were pretty close.
We're now distributed nationwide in 15 and 20,000 stores. Have raised a little bit more money, which I'm sure we'll talk about. New flavors. We have the sweet cream latte there.
This is my favorite flavor. This is phenomenal.
And that one's got first batch label on that, which still
sweet.
tastes good, but like it's very, very craft beer feeling sometimes for the first batch.
Have you changed the version, like the actual
The
product
formula?
itself?
No.
Okay.
No.
The formula, that's the word.
Yeah, the formula is the liquid inside. Sometimes just got to find a way to get new things made. And
That tastes really good.
yeah, so that's first batch, but still fire. Came out with the Ultra, 42 grams protein.
Very nice.
The tall boy can, first time ever doing that, and just chipping away.
What's feedback like on these 42 grams?
Extremely positive.
Really?
I think the reason we went 42 is a lot of people wanted more protein.
Yeah.
I think especially people that are drinking Slate for breakfast or post-workout that love the 20 gram. We now also have a 32 gram, which they love. But people that wanted to hit their macro goals of 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, 42 is the best way to get there. You just need it. Yeah.
You had a 30 gram though, didn't you?
We have a 32.
You still do?
Yep.
How do those sell?
Very well too.
Really?
It's interesting. We have 20 gram, 32 gram, 42 gram. What we found is that the same people sometimes drink different amounts of protein at different times of the day, or it's kind of like the Olympic rings where it's some people will drink both, but different people like different amounts of protein in their drinks.
Yeah.
So I think our goal is to have a better protein drink for every customer. That's what we're aiming towards.
Right. And what was the reason why you didn't launch with 40 grams at first? Like what made you even start with 20?
Back in the whole story started with healthy chocolate milk. We were just talking about Shark Tank.
Why don't you give us the story if they don't
So,
know?
it all started late 2017. Me and Josh, my business partner, came together and said if we could create a healthy chocolate milk, we would drink it ourselves. We were both drinking lactose-free chocolate milk. So I was drinking it after football practice. He was just swinging it in the mornings, and started Googling some things. In 2019, launched a Kickstarter campaign. Did about $50,000 from 1,200 backers. Was kind of our coming out party of the world. This is what we're doing with our lives, and people are like, well, what are you doing? And then we went on ABC's Shark Tank, which I'm sure we'll talk about. And then we launched as healthy chocolate milk, and hitting the market, it wasn't necessarily to add protein into people's diets. It was more of like just a better bad, call it, like a better chocolate milk.
Yeah.
But then quickly we realized that people want a better for you protein drink. And when that unlock happened, we wanted to make our existing products better. We launched new flavors. And then about 4 or 5 years in, we're like, all right, it's time to add more protein to the drinks. And I think also just times are changing, right? People are trying to get more protein today than they were 5-6 years ago. 5-6 years ago, it was mostly bodybuilders, people trying to put on muscle. Now it's just part of the everyday healthy lifestyle.
It's like the emphasis now is the importance of more protein, or at least like the reality is there's like not many people that are hitting all their protein goals, and they think that, oh, I only need protein if I want to build muscle, but it's so much more than just the muscle mass you hold on to.
Yeah.
We're just talking about this off camera, how there's so many, like, I don't want to say cliche business podcasts, but maybe more so like feel good business podcasts with like the great quotes and the motivation and the stories, and those feel great, but you walk away with not much of a takeaway, like nothing that you can actually go and apply. So I really want this to be a conversation about like the granular details, right? Like the good, but also like the really bad and the ugly, because I know it and I love the grind. And obviously I don't have a startup of my own, but I always say as content creators, we get the best of both worlds. I can be a part of really cool brands and I get to do all the fun shit. But then when warehouse shut down, I'm out. That's your job, not mine. So I can do all the cool shit with you guys and I can celebrate, but I also like to see from a different lens, like, hey, this is the reality of the situation. So with that, Shark Tank, even getting on a show like that, how did you just applied figuring why not?
Yeah, we after our Kickstarter campaign, we were able to get in contact with their team. And I think early on, what was appealing about Slate to Shark Tank was they like the energy of founders, right? If you're kind of there monotone and kind of doing your own thing and in your own head, they might not be the best for television, but our Kickstarter video was me yelling at a glass of chocolate milk and Josh like holding up funny signs. And so I think that they thought we would be entertaining as founders because it's TV at the end of the day, right? And then also I think it was just the product positioning. Like, who doesn't love chocolate milk? Right. People are trying to be, even in 2018, people are trying to be healthier. Something they hadn't seen before. And we went through the process and their team was great to work with. And we get a call saying, unfortunately, you're going to have to book off this week because you're going to be on Shark Tank. And that was haven't had too many speechless moments in my life, but that was a speechless moment. And that was, 6 years ago now?
Speechless isn't like, oh my God, I'm excited, or like, what the fuck do I have to go and do?
See, all of the above.
Yeah.
Like it was definitely excitement. And I think anyone that goes into Shark Tank knows going in, even in any investor meeting, this one just so happens to be seen by millions of people. You don't know what's going to happen. You might lose control of the conversation. It might go very well, which you obviously hope it does. It might go poorly. All you can do is prepare the best that you can. And we knew going in that it wasn't going to be in a setting that we could necessarily control.
Right.
But, Shark Tank knocks. You open the door.
Shark Tank knocks, you open the door. I want to obviously get into that.
Yeah.
Side note, or side question rather, you seem very calm, cool, and collected. And even I watched this thing 6 years ago, and I watched the pitch, and I'm like, he did a really good job. What was the most nerve-wracking pitch you've ever had?
Oh, definitely Shark Tank.
By far.
Oh, with Josh and I both blacked out in the tank. And also we were sober, just let the record show. It's just, it's the Super Bowl of startups, right? And we definitely, if anyone's seen the episode, lost the Super Bowl of startups. It didn't go as planned. And, it obviously hurt the ego in the moment, but you get back to work. At the end of the day, it's 5 individuals telling you that they don't want to invest in your company, not just on a very public platform. But no, it was by hands down, far and away, the most nerve-wracking experience of my life.
And I think the most important part is how you handle the rejection. Yeah. I'll give you guys a clip notes if you guys haven't seen it. So check it out. It's on YouTube. Type in Slate Milk Shark Tank. You'll find it. They walk in. I would say you guys did a really good job. You're very enthusiastic. You're talking about the product. The product doesn't need that much explanation, right? You want chocolate milk. You want to make it healthier. You want to add protein. Great. The sharks then get the product. They go to taste it. Mark almost throws up in his glass. Probably dramatics, I would assume. Then the other judges are like, oh my God, I kind of feel the same way. Chocolate is better than dark chocolate, whatever. They're kind of going back and forth. They finally all end up saying no, really because you guys are pre-launch and you're asking for money on a $4 million valuation, which hindsight is a pretty good deal right now. And they all kind of respected that and just said, thank you, but no thank you. And that was it, right? Like the biggest takeaways that I had, the first one was Lori mentioning, because you guys said something about your connections, right? You had people that were in your corner that can get you into these accounts, first day or whatever it was. And she mentioned, well, that's great, but product is the most important part of a business. How do you feel about that statement?
I think she's right. I think product is extremely important. I think that in any business, product and brand can be improved. And especially early on when you're investing in a company. And again, if I was one of the sharks, I probably wouldn't have invested in us either, right? I think even in hindsight being 2020, maybe they could have seen something in us or asked more questions about the market. And there are a million different directions that it could have went, that it could have been more favorable for us and gotten the investment. Right. Obviously, there's no regret on our end. I'm sure there's no regret on their end, even if they say there might be, who knows, which they haven't said anything. But I think product and brand can always be improved. And so even like you and I look at a lot of deals together and just to assess opportunities and even in like public markets, right? Obviously you want to make sure you have a great product and a great brand, but it's more about the people behind the business, the strategy, what they're attacking, how big the market is, if there are other players. I think that there's more that goes in. But if you have, however, 20, 30, 40 minutes to talk to someone, obviously product and brand are going to come first. And we will always improve our products.
I feel like that entire story is very hard to tell in 5 minutes on a pitch, but I agree with what you're both saying. At the same time, like you said, you can always listen. If you have the right team and the right problem to solve, nowadays, I would assume it's relatively easy to like find the flavor profile that matches what you're looking for and make a good product, right? One that tastes pretty good. And it's funny, like I am shocked when I taste a shitty product. Like who the fuck tasted this? Who greenlit this? And now you're putting this on the shelves.
I would say I actually disagree. I think it's very difficult to make great tasting things if you're trying to be better for you. So Got it. So I think it's all like a spectrum, right? Yeah. If you load something with sugar and fats and health doesn't matter and calories don't matter and sugar, whatever, then I think that it's much easier to make something that tastes great with mouthfeel, and it's what people are used to, high sugar, high fat, what have you. If you're trying to, basically what we're trying to do in Better For You, all of the brands that you work with that are better for you, all the ones that we see, is we try to emulate that mouthfeel, that flavor, that sweetness using different ingredients. Yeah. A lot of times those ingredients are ones you can't read and are shit and super artificial. So we try to do it the best we can with using the best ingredients. And so it's all a spectrum of, there are brands out there that you and I might say taste like garbage. And there's some that I personally don't like the taste of. And I do not know who likes the taste of them, but I look at their numbers. I'm like, damn, it's like, like they ain't doing bad.
Yeah.
Right. And then I look at some that are super hot. Like if you saw the sales for just regular, like Coke, like not even diet, just full sugar Coke, it would break your brain because the way that you and I think, and we've discussed this, is so many people these days are moving towards Better For You, which is true. But the amount of people in this country and globally that still just don't give a shit about ingredients is so massive. But the big brands have, like we believe, pretty much like a stranglehold on that market. And that customer isn't necessarily looking for something better, right? They're pretty happy with their full sugar sodas. And so for someone like Slate, we are a Better For You product. And so what we try to do is emulate, again, taste, whether that's mouthfeel, whether that's sweetness, viscosity, which is like the thickness of that, and make it taste as close to a real chocolate milk or an unhealthy protein shake as possible, because then people that are trying to be healthier can make the switch over without sacrificing taste, and that's the goal.
Got it. I guess, yeah, from my seat, it's easy to be like, make a fucking chocolate taste like chocolate. And you're like, okay, now go to make that chocolate without chocolate. Like that's the hard part,
right? Is
matching flavor profile without the actual flavor added into this whole thing. And that should excite you, right? Like even Poppy at a valuation of what was like $2 billion, probably doesn't even touch or come close to what Coca-Cola is selling for. You know what I mean? So they got bought up by who? Pepsi?
Pepsi, yeah.
Right. So like you compare those pricing, you have a gigantic, and not to talk shit about anybody, like the Midwest generally doesn't care as much as we do, that are going to keep drinking the Coke till the day they die.
Yeah. I think it's more about, I think in every area, like you'll typically see hubs of major cities that will be more Better For You.
Yeah.
But it'll be, there are just masses of customers that just do not give a shit. And I think the idea, and going back to market, right? Like reeling this back into like the Shark Tank conversation, is the market for Better For You is growing extremely rapidly. I don't know much about the market for worse for you or just like standard high sugar, but I can anticipate it's either plateauing or declining because Better For You is growing so quickly.
Right. So it's just taking a piece of the pie.
Correct.
So it has to decrease.
Correct.
That'd be interesting if it wasn't, and people were just like over consuming to like.
Well, I mean, I think the rebuttal to that would be just the amount of pure drinks people are drinking is increasing because there's so many more options. So like if you think about a family of 6 that maybe 5 years ago was literally just drinking like tap water and milk. Yeah. Now they're integrating Slate, they're integrating Poppy, they're integrating more things, which that family would then be adding to the overall beverage like TAM, total addressable market.
Right. It is interesting that we are really in the infancy of Better For You drinks. Like you said, 5 years ago, I mean, I wasn't drinking iPop or Poppy or Slate. You know what I mean? I didn't even know about that now. Now it's an everyday thing. I would never go and grab. I mean, I love a Diet Coke once in a while, but I'd never go and grab like a Coke. You know, as like my go-to drink. So it's interesting and exciting again where this space kind of goes in 5-10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
2 questions about Shark Tank. You're pitching today. How would you pitch differently? And second, you're a judge and you got Manny from 5 years ago. Are you giving him a deal or not?
Ooh, 2 good questions. So if I'm going back into the moment and pitching then, or pitching literally today?
You're pitching today.
Sales numbers would be a little different.
Right.
Team size would be a little different. I think we would lean a lot more into the market and the opportunity. And again, let the brand and the product speak for themselves. We get a lot of great feedback on our products. Again, I think any brand, doesn't matter who you are, if you are content with your products, then you should not be running product. Mm-hmm. Early on, people told us, and it's been ingrained into our DNA, that we need to relentlessly pursue better products at all times. Like we will always try to make our products better. And that's not like every single, like not releasing 8 different iterations every year. And it's got to be better. We got to test it. It's not just pulling things off the market, testing shit out. But I think that we would let the product and the brand kind of speak for themselves a little bit more. And I think that today the products would probably be received a little bit differently than back then.
So easier pitch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we've proven a lot more, right? I think every brand's got more to prove. I think we got more to prove, but today we've proven a lot more. I think we would really hone in on where we see the world in 5 or 10 years. And that is, we believe that like keto, which a lot of people still are, but in terms of the amount of people that were on keto, I think it felt like more of a fad than like the evolution of the human diet, right? Or like new age diet, where our theory and what we believe is that in the future, that healthy diet, the modern diet, is going to be high protein. And the best way to increase protein in your diet is through drinks, because if you're eating more chicken, it's adding so many more calories, right? The most efficient way to increase protein in a diet is through drinks or powders.
That makes a lot. I mean, it's, again, you take a step back and you don't get caught up in like the bullshit that you see online, and you deal with and talk to people that are actually healthy, or they have the body that you want to have, or they're as fit as you want to be. And they're always going to be preaching a high protein diet and then choosing an energy source as in fat or carbs, not high in either or, but kind of like a balance between all three. And it's funny, I was talking to a guy in the gym, jacked up bodybuilder, right? Like not a guy that we maybe want to look like, but a pro bodybuilder, right? So he's on what he has to be on and whatever. And he's bulking. And I remember asking him the question, like, what do your meals look like? And he's like, I got like 6 meals a day. I'm very high carb, high protein. I try to keep my fats at a minimum. And I'm like, what do you like, just eating?
Interesting.
Yeah. What do you eat, like lean meats and rice? Like, was that your meal? He's like, I have 4 protein shakes a day with cereal. And I'm like, that is the most ridiculous statement I've ever heard in my life. Wow. I was like, how are you not shitting your pants all day? And he goes on to tell me, like, these protein powders, I think the problem is, like, we want a feel-good story. So good for you has to be whole foods, right? But the reality is, if you want an easy-to-digest option, protein has been evolved to be created for that exact reason, to be easily digested and consumable for people that need more protein. So it makes sense that we just like get that into people's brains. Like, you know, steak and lean meats are better than a protein shake. Maybe, like, but maybe not, right? It may be better or easier for you to get your fix with a shake. Like you have.
I think we see a lot on social media of people with a lot of conviction talking about how whole foods and meals are better than drinks for protein. And I'm not a nutritionist. I would say that for some people, that might be the case. For others, it might not be the case. For me, like, all I can talk about is myself. For me personally, if I try to get 200 grams of protein just through foods, I would be much larger.
You'd be throwing the fuck up too.
Yes.
Try to eat that much chicken in a day.
It's very difficult.
Very difficult. Weighs on you. I know I can't eat that much meat. I get very lethargic in my stomach.
But even like talking to Gavin, right? After your birthday party, Gavin was talking to me about blueberries, started eating blueberries. I was a big anti-fruit guy, still kind of am. But just mixed them in a little bit, and like they taste great. It's a good like
what
healthy
did he say about blueberries?
He was telling me that his dinner is lean meat and blueberries.
Such a bullshitter. Like he forgets the Krispy Kreme donuts. It's after the fact. He's like, no, I swear.
But he was and then also I was talking to he doesn't even know I started doing this, by the way.
Now he does.
And now he does. And then also he was telling me that, because I was asking about cardio. I don't like running. I will run. Like Richie challenged me the other day to run 5, and I was like,
did you do it?
I did 5.
Damn.
I didn't feel good.
What was your pace?
Slow. A couple walks.
Over 10 minute mile?
Yeah, probably a little less.
It's not bad.
Yeah, that wasn't crazy.
You're a bigger guy.
Yeah. But Gavin was talking about how he does Stairmaster for 15 at the end. Yeah. I've mixed that in too.
And again, I don't know what you believe on social media, but I read that walking at an extreme incline, like 15 on the treadmill for like 30 minutes a pop, is like burns 3 times more fat than walking flat or running or whatever it may be. Better for your knees. And then you go back to the people that are doing this. You look at like the 90s bodybuilders, and that's what they did for cardio. And that's how they got shredded while keeping their muscle on. So it's like, stop listening to the general masses that don't know what they're talking about. Go to professionals like Gavin who are doing it. And what are your trade secrets? What are you doing that's getting to the next level? And they'll probably fucking tell you.
And then also just try shit.
Right,
like,
exactly.
That's the main thing. Even before Slate, like I was actually just talking to one of my friends about this, is the heaviest I ever was right before Slate. And like Slate's a big reason why I lost a lot of weight. Like I was still fine, but I was probably like 210. Like I was a bigger guy.
What do you know?
I'm like 200, but now I'm mostly muscle.
You look good, bro.
Thanks, bro. You too.
Yeah, thanks, man. For sure.
But I think that it's just trying shit out and seeing how you feel, right? And don't do it for a week. Do it for a couple months and see how you feel. Because if you feel like shit, it's not sustainable and you're wasting your time. Because the second you go off it, you will not be on it forever. That diet, that workout program, whatever. you're just going to yo-yo right back.
Yeah, I mean, you just need time.
Yeah.
Like being, we're older men now, so
We
get
are.
it. But we're 21, 22. Like you want everything like this, and you're reading all these different articles, and you're watching these different YouTube videos, and it's so overwhelming. You don't know who to believe, because you get such contradicting information. But
That's true.
So old Manny,
Okay.
You're judge now, judging old Manny. What are you saying to him?
I'm saying shave the beard. No, I'm saying
I agree. Actually, I think you look better with a shorter beard.
I'm saying, like, why are you doing this? Like, what is the and even when you and I talk to founders all the time, just to be in the space, whether they're like bigger businesses, smaller businesses, and it's like, why do you think this will be successful?
Yeah.
Like, obviously the brand needs work, the products need work, but what do you see? Why are you stopping your entire life and diving into this? Why did I think we said 4 retailers got us meetings or something. Yeah. We had raised $200K to date before that show. Like, what are people seeing that we're not seeing? All we're seeing is a brand that hasn't launched yet, products that we think need work, and a couple of co-founders that don't have too much experience, right? Like, it's not like one of our friends who co-founded Halo Top went in there, and I think right away they gave him validity. Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because, I mean, if you've done something before, you have the experience of building. We didn't have that experience.
Got it.
So that's what, even when, I talk to founders just to learn, right? Just try to talk to a bunch of founders and see what else is out there. It's, if I don't understand what they see, I really want to dig into, like, what is it that you see that I don't? And sometimes I just don't see it, which is totally fine. But I think that it's always important where if someone is passionate, has a vision, they're stopping their life to do something, I want to at least try to see what they see to see if my vision aligns with what their vision is for the world in 5 years.
Right. So you'd want to know and dive a little bit deeper into like the why of the founders.
Like, why does the world need this? I think that's when thinking about any new product, why does the world need this product, service, brand? It could be there are no Pilates studios within an 8-mile radius, and that's why like someone wants to open one. It could be all the protein drinks out there are in plastic or high in sugar or use worse ingredients or don't taste great, which is obviously part of our why. Yeah. Or it could be anything in between. But small business, large business, why does the world need this? Not only today, but in 5 years.
Right. And so you're not giving old Manny a deal?
In that moment, it depends on what old Manny's answer would have been.
Good answer.
But I would say in that moment, I don't know.
Let's say no to yourself.
Yeah.
You don't want to say no to yourself.
Yeah.
Because you didn't say no to yourself.
Oh, no, of course. I mean, obviously, knowing the co-founders that were behind the company, I think everyone is and would bet on themselves. Right, so I think if that's the mentality, then I would have at least made an offer and tried to get a deal done, knowing that, because I know the vision of old Manny and old Josh, and I invested my life into it and money into it, and still continue to do both of that, invest time and money and basically everything into it. So if the hypothetical is knowing what I know now and knowing, like, talking to old Manny, I would have invested 100%.
Of course, yeah. What is the most like annoying or worst thing to hear, either previously or now, from investors?
It's a good question.
Because I know VC's got a lot of one-liners that are fucking miserable.
The most respectful thing a VC can do is a quick no versus a long maybe. And I think we always appreciate just a quick no. And look, raising money, it takes time. It's grueling, but it's part of business.
Right.
Like, you got to just put the time in and just get after it and raise what you need, and then whatever it takes, right? Like, if the company needs dollars to fuel the vision, because there are a lot of different paths, right? Let's say a company, even not Slate, let's say a company is going out and raising $10 million, and the goal is to grow from X to Y in the next 18 months. If they don't get that, hopefully it's not like the company's going to go under. You just need to change the plan and grow slower, right? Or you need to change the strategy.
Right.
But I think the most annoying thing, some of the things that we heard early on, where we would show data to say something and someone would be like, I just don't like believe in the market, or like, I just, where it's like, you just didn't look at the information. And if you don't believe in the market, like, then you're just not trusting the data that's already in the market, which is fine. It is what it is. I think that's part of it. I think also, look, if you don't like the products, you don't like the products. If I was to invest in something that I didn't like the products, I would talk to the founders and say, or the head of ops or whomever, and say, what's the plan for the products? Like, how do you feel about the products? And I think that every good company should say we're always trying to make the products better, but also an individual opinion might not be the opinion of the masses. And who's your customer? You need to make the product for that customer.
Right. And if somebody's maybe not that demographic and you're interested, they may be like blind or naive to that sort of fact.
Correct.
what is like the most heinous thing maybe just like a dickhead of an investor and like a real arrogant guy. I think a lot of older investors or angel investors, maybe they got lucky once or twice and now they got all this money and quote unquote experience and they like to like really hammer it down to the young guys. You ever deal with anybody like that that's just like an asshole of a guy?
Oh, plenty of times. Yeah. And you'd smile and nod and kind of give the metaphorical thanks for your time. Right. I think one that always stands out is early on, even before we started. This was like us learning, flying around, probably even before the Shark Tank days. We're raising a little bit of money, trying to get going. And an investor that had invested in a company a consumer company, a food or snacks company that sold, basically said, we gave him our business plan. And he was like, why are you spending money on marketing? Marketing doesn't mean shit. Like marketing doesn't work. It's all about sales. And Josh and I kind of chuckled. He's going to know exactly who I'm talking about too. Yeah. And we just fundamentally disagree. Like obviously any business is about sales, but if people don't know who you are, what you stand for, or that you exist, like just being on the shelves of stores, people aren't going to pick up your shit. And so I think early on, that was very, very early. And we realized that some people might not think about business like we think about business. And if we're going to accept money from those people, we need to make sure that they are aligned with our strategy.
That's got to be really hard when dealing with people that are more successful than you in the moment. Like, hey, I think you're wrong, but like, who am I? I have nothing really to validate my stance, and you do. And it may not be a good validator, but like you could say it from this place of like, look at me, I have this thing, and you don't. I have what you want. You should probably listen to what I'm doing.
Yeah, we just don't give a fuck. Like,
and you never did.
No,
it probably comes from like the conviction you had of like yourselves.
Well, I think also like we'll absorb, right? It's not like we're not stubborn to the point where it's like, no, our way or the highway. I think that's a terrible way to do business. Like I think when we think about founders, successful founders that Josh and I know, and people that we respect their opinions of, or even people that might have struggled, just people that we see, it's kind of like the spectrum of founders. On one side, you have like the fuck you, my way or the highway, like lead by fear and like this is how we're doing things. Right. On the other side, you have like the overly empathetic and the successful person says one thing, you instantly change your business and like you just pivot and like don't really have a stance. Yeah. Which I think there are people that are successful on both sides. I'm not going to name any names, but we know successful people that we think are kind of on both sides. I think Josh and I do try to be right in the middle, where we have a vision, we have a stance. If someone's been successful, we will listen and we will dive in and we will absorb, and we won't just say F you, it's our way, but also we're not going to say, you know what, you sold your company for $1 billion, let's do it that way. Right. Because times are changing. So I think you need to have the ability to do both, form your own opinions and believe in frickin' something and a strategy, but also at the same time, listen, because you're so deep in the business, your way might be wrong. And so you need to absorb and listen and be open to change, even if you've been doing something a certain way for a very long time.
You brought up a good point, like you're so in the weeds. Have you ever had like a conversation with maybe somebody that isn't even in business that just like opened your eyes and changed your perspective on something that you were just like, how did I not think about that?
All the time.
Really?
Oh, I think especially when it comes to the product and the brand, when you're in it, it's so hard. Like when you're in the forest, you can't see the trees sometimes, right? And I think it's being able to take a step back. And I think that's why also getting people on the team that are smart, but also like we think have different life experiences, we think is important, because we want people to think about our brand a certain way. But also if we are very tunnel vision focused on this is how we think people should think about our brand, we might be missing a big customer segment. So I think that's part of it. And also just the products, right? You can get all the feedback you want, but sometimes you're so locked into the products, you need to take a step back. And even if you have certain data, think, all right, why is the data the data?
Do you have a recent example of like feedback you got from somebody outside of the business that you actually applied? Because I can't imagine how many people be like, hey man, really got a different flavor. Or like, hey man, the can looks like this, but maybe change the wording from this to that. Like my dad does that shit all the time.
I know, but we love him for it.
Right.
I would say there's nothing that comes to mind. I think it's not like necessarily like a change. I think it's more of just a mindset or a thought that we're like, this is actually that's a good point. That's a good point. And I think every company should listen, but I don't think it's necessarily hearing something and then applying it right away. I think it's more just absorbing it. And any decision we make, we're trying to collect as much information as we can, whether it's internal thoughts and opinions and ideas or external data or customer feedback. And I think the feedback from every single person, whether it's a text to my phone every once in a while, a DM on Instagram to the Slate account, customer feedback, people internally. It's all a collection of everything that allows us to form the strategy.
Yeah. And I would assume, being in your shoes, if you hear the same piece of feedback 10 times over, that's got to get your ear a little bit differently than one thing one time.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, we would call that a trend.
Right.
Yeah. Like, you could have an opinion and then there's like a trend. And if there's a trend, then I think that's where it's circle up and discuss, whether it's good or bad, whether it's improvement or something that we're just doing very well. Like, there are also things where, like the amount of times early on that we heard that the French vanilla tasted like melted ice cream.
Yeah.
Like, we'd always talked about that internally, but we got enough feedback where we're like, all right, this should be part of our marketing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Because I agree.
Yeah.
What do you think makes you, and then I'll let you talk about Josh because I know you like to do that, makes you a great founder?
I think, first off, I got a long way to go. I think every founder has a long way to go. You just rolled your eyes, but I think it's true. I think everyone needs to. I think that's part of it is never, for both of me and Josh. I'll talk for both of us because I think that we're kind of one of the same.
But you are very different. In
we're different, but also just like we'll be on an email chain with the two of us, and he'll respond, then someone will respond, then I'll respond, and just pick up on the note. And like, I think that what makes us great co-founders is we just work together in everything.
Gotcha.
And if we ever disagree, we'll talk it through and agree. And it's our taglines, like NLB, never look back. Like, we say that to each other all the time. Like, when we make a decision, I'll text him something, like a photo of something, whether it's can design or something. He'll just write NLB, and then that locks it in, and we'll go. Right. And obviously, we're working with a team. It's not just me. Like, this is, and there are more formal processes than that sometimes, but that's just like little things. But I think part of it is just like the relentless pursuit of being better in every aspect of the business. Just and having a little bit of success, got a long way to go, but just knowing that we can always be better in every aspect. We can market better. We can have better products. We can brand better. We can have a better operation. I think that constant pursuit is something that's in our company's DNA too. And there are a lot of moving pieces in business, as we were discussing before.
Right. How do you feel, or what would you say to a solo founder versus a co-founding team?
I'm personally a big fan of co-founders.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously have a co-founder. A solo founder, man, you got to have, like, co-founders, you need a good support system. Like, you need people around you that are your true number twos, that act like number ones, that are just like basically co-founders underneath co-founders. They need to have the same mindset. You guys need to be in lockstep, like, can't be arguing about stupid shit. There's no time for that. Things are going to go wrong. Like, you're going to get a 10:42 p.m. text of shit happening. Like, you're going to need to make approvals on a tight timeline and figure out a solution. But if you're a solo founder, man, you got to have good frickin' people around you.
Do you have any that you know that are just like killers, like solo founders? Because I could not imagine I tried, and doing something alone is very, very lonely.
There are definitely people I'm missing, I'm sure. But most of the companies I know have co-founders, I feel.
I think the success rates are like drastically different of solo versus co-founders.
I wouldn't be surprised. And even if a co-founder comes in late, right? Like, you can be doing something for 14, 16 months, bring in a co-founder, and like we've seen stories like that. Like, a co-founder doesn't need to be there from day one, but just having that co-founder title, like, that's your freaking thing. Like, that's who you are. Like, that is part of your, if you want to start a business, like, you're Johnny Drinks. Right? Like, that's part of who you fucking are.
Right.
Like, your pops is Johnny Drinks too. That's part of who he is. If you don't want, and because you guys are co-founders, if you do not want your business to be a part of who you are, like how people identify you, then you shouldn't start a business, or you shouldn't start a media platform or anything.
Yeah. Well, I think the difference is, right, because you could consider a content creator, if they're alone, a solo founder. The only difference is, like, you normally go 0 to 100 when you start building your business, right? I didn't intend to build the business. It kind of came to me, versus being a solo founder saying, I'm going to put myself out there, hope you guys enjoy this. And now you got to struggle in public and let people kind of know, like, this either isn't working or it sort of is. How do you then attract a co-founder as a solo? Because for me, it'd be easy. And for you right now to have other team members, it'd be easy because you guys started together. But as a solo founder, it's got to be difficult.
It's tough. And we've had people reach out to us being like, how did you and Josh meet? And like, we're fortunate. Our tech startups in Boston did business together right away. I think there was just a mutual respect, just the way that he did business, the way that I did business. And we knew pretty early on that we were going to start something together. I think that it starts and ends with trust. Like you have to blindly, it's like a marriage.
Yeah.
Like you have to blindly trust your business partner because no one's going to be looking over their shoulder. No one's going to be looking over your shoulder, and shit's going to go wrong. They're going to fuck up. You're going to fuck up. Right. And the worst thing that can happen is things get buried, or at some point trust is lost. Because Josh and I talk about it often. Our relationship with each other is probably more important than our individual relationship with the business, because we just do so much shit together for the business that we have to be in lockstep.
Was there ever a moment where you both felt like, hey, this isn't working out?
Never.
Not
a moment. From the day we started. Like, he's always been my guy. And he will always be my guy. He knows. Like, that's why I talk, like, he's my business partner, not just my co-founder.
Was there ever a moment where both of you collectively said, hey, this isn't working out?
Never.
Like, for the business?
Oh, no. There's never been a moment since the day we started. Well, so October 5, 2017 was idea. I was at the Flower Cafe in Boston, Mass. On Washington Street, talking to an investor about a different project. And he was talking to me about how he just invested in a beverage company. And I know which one, still remember which one he was talking about. And the valuation was insane, and they're no longer around. And I remember thinking, like, that's getting that much money. And so he said, you should look into, like, check out beverage. And that's where I was like, I've always had this idea for healthy chocolate milk, kind of on the cusp. And for probably the next 7 months, so Josh and I started like kicking it around. The next 7 months, we were kind of doing part-time. And then in June 2018, we went full-time. And since that moment, there's not been a singular day where either we were thinking about splitting up as co-founders, or we didn't have complete conviction that there is an opportunity here. And at the beginning, it was healthy chocolate milk, and it was 17 protein and 9 sugar. So when we launched, 17 protein, 9 sugar, healthy chocolate milk. And we knew there was just this gap, this white space in between high sugar kids chocolate milks and artificial bodybuilder protein drinks. And like, that was the space we were attacking.
Right.
And we just kept chipping away, working towards it. And then when we were in the actual space is when we realized this is not a healthy chocolate milk company. This is a better for you protein drink brand.
Got it. When do you know when it's time to kind of pack it up?
Man, that's a good question. I think it just starts and ends with instinct, right? Like, I think we know there are businesses that have sold for hundreds of millions of dollars that we know that were literally out of money. And they held on and held on and held on because they believed and they believed and they believed, and then it ended up working out. Like, I think there's an article going around, or a social media post about the founder of FedEx. Have you heard this?
No.
Don't know if it's true.
Let's assume it is.
But the founder of FedEx was down to his last $5,000. Went to Vegas.
Stop.
Look it up right now. Look it up.
Joe, please look it up.
Look it up. Founder of FedEx.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the gambling?
Yeah. Founder of FedEx put $5,000 down in Vegas, turned it into 27 grand, saved the company, raised money, and he just passed away. That's why this story is going around. But
I haven't seen any of the. I forgot. You haven't seen any of the posts?
No, I have to get down on that.
Is that a true story?
I'm pretty sure it's a true story.
Yeah, I think it's true.
That'd be a wild one to lie about. That's insane. Or how about the one? My favorite story is RX Bar, where like they were doing nothing in sales, changed their packaging, and now they are who they are.
Yep. And then so Peter Rahal, the founder of RX Bar, sold that to Kellogg's, and now he's the co-founder of David Bars.
How are they doing?
They just publicly raised a round, and the valuation is $750 million.
They just launched how many years ago?
Months, not years.
Shut the fuck up.
It's probably, yeah. Look that up too.
Do you know any sort of numbers what they're doing?
I think there might be some public ones. We can look it up, but I think they're doing well.
Boy, they have to be.
Yeah.
I mean, but also the same. I would assume in your space, founder or successful second or third founders get like this rite of passage when they evaluate something at these ridiculous numbers.
Yeah, well, I think so. Peter Rahal, he's also a Slate investor.
Oh, he is?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's the bar guy, right? He created RX Bar. He now is doing David Bar. David Bar is pretty much the polar opposite of RX Bar. At least that's my take, where RX was no BS, all natural ingredients. David Bar, it's much more focused on taste and flavor.
Do you think that's the appeal, because I thought the same thing. I walked into the David bar and I was like, oh, this is gonna be really healthy for me. And it tasted great. And I looked in the ingredients and I'm like, I thought it doesn't use any of this stuff. Like, why am I getting tricked into believing? But like David Bar never says they're using all natural healthy ingredients.
Raised it $750 million, so I think he's doing something right.
I think he's doing something right, man. But I think that's kind of like you started one thing very, very healthy. People just assume naturally like this is gonna be good for me.
Could be.
Huh. He's doing right by somebody.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. That's so interesting. And now he's part of, what has he brought to kind of Slate's table as far as advice or
we talk to Peter every once in a while and just give him the update and just ask him questions with whatever's going on. I don't think there was a situation recently, but look, anyone that's built a business, there are going to be times where you have a fork in the road and you got to make a choice. And so typically when we have that, we'll talk to our board members. We'll talk to people in the space that have been successful, like Doug Boughton, co-founder of Halo Top. He's an investor in the brand. The co-founders of Yasso are part of the brand, and just getting everyone's feedback and absorbing it and then making a decision. So Peter's, he's smart, man. He's done very well.
Obviously. How honest would you be with a founder that came to you and maybe not necessarily the product is the problem or the space, it's like them as the founder. Like, they just don't have the wherewithal, the dedication or focus.
Would you tell someone that? If you thought that there was an opportunity and the brand was decent, needed to work, the product was pretty good, but the founder you just didn't think had it, would you let them know?
I wish somebody told me that, because I look back at myself and that's what I would tell myself, because I knew the space. I was a very stubborn kid and I want to make something work and I want to prove people wrong. And I think if that's your motive behind any one thing, you're probably in it for the wrong reasons. Yep. And then you take a step back and you're like, I have no passion for ed tech. Like, I don't care about this space. I hate selling into schools. And I think the product is cool. I don't love it. I love the thought of like building something, and I hate the fact of me telling people that I lost. That isn't enough. And I wish I had one person say to me, this isn't gonna work. Like, very honest. A lot of people said it, but he was super honest. Like, listen, man, you're 24 now. Like, you're losing time. You should probably cut bait at this point. Like, it's not going anywhere.
Wait, someone said that to you?
Yeah, a very honest mentor of mine.
And was that when you cut it?
No, crushed my heart. But I was like, again, still had this like stubbornness of I'm going to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
And then when the TikTok thing started to take off for us, I was like, wait a minute, I'm having so much fun and I have so much passion for building this brand. I should be feeling the same way about this, and I don't. That's enough for me. I needed my out, and that was kind of my out. If I didn't have this, I don't know what I would have done, honestly. I think people need to look into a little more of what they're doing and why they're doing it versus like, this is a trend and I want to hop on this trend and cash grab.
I think that's a great way to put it. Is, again, what I would have said to myself if I was a shark on that episode is, why are you doing this? Yeah. And I think we would have said, because we believe that it doesn't exist in the world and we want it, and we think the world needs it, and we think even if they don't need it today, they're going to need it in 3 or 5 years. And I think that we've proven a lot of that. And so that's what, if I felt like someone wasn't the right person, I would, if they passionately felt that, like, the world needed it, then I would say, here's who I would hire. And I would basically recommend people to hire to fill in what I think are their clear and obvious gaps.
Them as an individual founder.
Correct.
Right? Like what they need.
Because every founder has skills and weaknesses, right? I don't think there's a perfect founder out there. I think even the most successful founders in the world, they need certain people around them that fill in their gaps.
What are your skills and weaknesses?
Where do I begin? I think that what Josh is really good at is, well, he's good at, like, nothing slips through the cracks, right? Like, he's
detail oriented,
thoroughbred operator, even though like he oversees finance and sales for us. But like, no email goes missed. Like, no email missed with me either. But even like some of the bullshit that comes with starting a company, like the legal shit, he's very, very good at maintaining every single relationship, whether it's someone that's part of the business or not. And he's very good at that. I think that for me, I'm more of like a vision guy, where like even though I run ops and marketing, and like run the operation itself, I try to do everything I can to see what we need to build towards and execute towards that. But again, like without our VP of ops and like our entire ops team, who like that are just fucking savages, like there's no operation. Right. And so, it's also, I think one of the most important qualities of any founder is self-awareness, because no one's going to be there to pick you up. No one's going to be there to make sure you're getting your shit done. If you're bad at something, no one's going to fucking tell you until maybe if you have a board and you're doing, whatever million in sales. So I think knowing early on where you need help and like being able to look in the mirror and saying, you know what, I'm not that good at that is important.
What was that thing for you?
Early on, we needed someone that understood the retail space.
Because you just didn't have that.
Because we just didn't have that knowledge. And Josh and I could organize to a certain degree, but like we need someone to really organize the plan, right? Like what's the plan going to be? So we brought in a great VP of sales, Mike. He's weapon, does an unbelievable job. Same thing on the ops side. Like needed someone to really like run the day-to-day operation. Brought in Justin. Now we have an entire team that again, everyone helps everyone out. And then on the same thing on the finance and marketing side is finding like my older brother who I started my first company with. He is technically director of marketing and ecom, but like he's like techie, and without him, like our ecom business doesn't exist like it is.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just like you need experts in certain things, and you also need people that can oversee the entire business and make sure that the experts are like driving towards the entire vision of the business. And so that's kind of how we like layer, even though everyone's like flat, like that's how we kind of layer our team, is have people that are really, really good at what they do, and then work with the rest of the team and Josh and I to make sure we're a cohesive unit working towards the vision.
What was your startup prior?
It was a brand ambassador platform that connected college students and brands.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I remember you talking
I did that
about
for like a year with my older brother, and I rolled it up. Sold the assets to an agency, but like it wasn't like a pop bottles. It was super early in my career, and like we were both like, "What are we doing? This isn't it." And like, you kind of feel it in your gut.
Yeah, when I'm gathering, and obviously I know you.
Yeah.
From this conversation, you're very political in your answers, but like in a good way, right? You're able to identify like here are our shortcomings, but as the founder, as the pilot of this plane, you never make the passengers feel worried and nervous, right? Like here's a problem, but we're gonna fix it, and here's how we're gonna fix it. You speak with conviction.
Yeah.
Even me ask you the question, like, what's your weakness? You're like, man, dude, I fucking struggle with this. Now. You're not making me feel worried at all.
Yeah.
And I know you're not just saying that because I'm an investor in Slate.
Right.
That's just how you carry yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that in itself is a really good trait for a founder to have. If the ship is fucking sinking, like you're going down with that ship, and you're not making anybody feel like it's going to be doomsday for you guys.
Yeah.
And it's got to be very hard when you put on a happy face for everybody else and you turn back around and you're up at night. You're like, what the fuck do I do tomorrow?
Yeah. I mean, I think again, we've been fortunate where we've had good times, we've had bad times. It's the same in life. You're going to have good moments, or you're going to want to scream from the mountaintops, and you're going to have shitty, dark days, months, weeks, what have you. You got to know they're coming. And like, there are going to be times in business where shit fucking sucks for whatever reason, in your control, outside your control. And all you can do is work to fix it. And in those moments, it's hard to kind of think about the other side, right? The other side of the tunnel. And then once you're out and you're like, all right, shit's going good. Like, it's not like you take your foot off the gas. You got to fucking go. And all you can do is try to prepare for the bad times, and also prepare for the good times. Because if things go better than anticipated, whether it's sales, operationally, what have you, you better be ready to capture that growth.
I want to dive deeper into like your mindset and how you handle mental health as a whole. Like, what are your pillars to make sure you're operating at full steam? Are you journaling? Are you meditating? Are you praying? Are you visualizing? Like, what does it look like inside your brain?
I think from what I gather, I think a lot of people are meditating, journaling, and it helps them. For me, I just wake up and I work.
That's it.
Like, maybe it's a little old school, and like the people that meditate and journal, I appreciate it. And like my meditation's at the gym, right? As bro hardo as that sounds, right. That's where my brain gets turned off, or I let my brain go. And if I'm thinking about work, it's fine. If I'm thinking about nothing, it's fine. But that's my time. If I got a call from Josh from 6 to 7:30 p.m., better be a goddamn emergency. Yeah. That's the rule. Or I get a text being like, call me when you're done, not urgent. But for me, I wake up and I just start working. And when the day's over, I'll go to the gym from 6 to 7:30, eat dinner. That's some quiet time at nights to either just think or respond to emails. I think a lot of what business is too, when you're in it and you're like the founder of a company, or co-founder, is just thinking. Because you can't be operating and thinking at the same time. Like, you can't be like planning out your 2028 plan and like what you're expecting to do while also just be like responding to emails.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think like what I like to do is my thinking on the nights and weekends. Not too much. Like, I'm not sitting at my desk, right? It's just like letting my brain go and thinking about business as things come up, and then go to sleep and do it all over again. But weekends are typically like times where I'll take time for myself.
But you're not like going on a retreat to think about new brain busting ideas and
Just we like wake up, go to work, do it again. Like but you got to, like, we love it.
Yeah.
You got to really, if you're going to be in it and try to grow a big business, you got to freaking love it, because it's your life and no one makes you do it. Like, you don't have to start a business. You do it because you fucking love it and it's fun and it's exciting and there's the unknown and you get to experience the growth and do it with people that you get to choose are on the team and they get to choose who their people are, and it's fucking fun.
How often do you wake up excited?
I would say most days, like when times are even neutral, right? When times are good, obviously, yes. When it's brutal, like there'll be a day here and there, but even like it's fun to do hard things. Like, it's exciting, and it like, for me at least, it feels like it gives you purpose, and to do things that whether they can or they can't, you feel like other people can't do or haven't done or won't do. Which there are tons of people that have done way bigger and cooler shit than me, but it's exciting to do hard things. And so even like, obviously you don't want to have a shitty conversation with someone, but even the times where it's like, fuck, like there's a lot of unknown and shit's not going great, there's still a little excitement to that.
If you are struggling through something, what is the first thing you want to go do? Is it a walk? Is it a sit by a water? What does that look like?
I'll probably work out.
Really?
Yeah. But like, gotta be careful not to get hurt, because you can't lift, we're in our old age.
Right. Correct.
Can't go too crazy. But yeah, I think like if something frustrating happens, it's like, all right, let me do a little chest tries back.
Go work it out.
Yeah.
Okay. What does the day in the life look like for you right now? Give me a really busy day.
So I typically stack my internal meetings on Tuesdays. What's today? Wednesday?
Today's Thursday.
Oh shit. But it's really different every day. It's whatever has to get done.
Give me this Tuesday. 2 days ago.
Tuesday.
What time did you wake up?
Well, actually, this Monday was a busy one. This Monday had a 8:30 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m., and these are all calls.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it was just like, it so happened it was just like a busy call wise Monday, but like they were all productive calls. Like, we don't have calls just to have calls.
Sure.
Some internal, some external. And then afternoon, there, like right now, a lot of my time and energy is on the operation itself of just like growth, getting cans made, like getting product made, the supply chain, things like that. Whereas maybe in 2 weeks, it might be a little bit more brand heavy, where maybe we're going to start thinking about 2026 planning of marketing and activations and stuff like that. And then a couple of weeks ago, we did that event in Vegas with Dana White at Albertson Safeway. So like, there was the weeks before that, there was a lot of planning for that that went in, then flew out to Vegas. So like, it really is just looking at, like when Josh and I started in Brighton, Mass, we put a whiteboard up in my living room in my apartment, just the two of us, and cut it into 16 squares and wrote like product, brand, marketing, legal, and just like every day just try to push all the pieces forward. And now it's just like, that's kind of still what we do, just metaphorically, and we just do what needs to get done.
Do you sleep?
Yeah.
8 hours?
I try to get 8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have a set time you wake up every day?
I mean, I'm not like a 5 a.m. guy. I usually try to get up between 7 and 7:30 and then just hop on. When are you up? Are you like a 4 a.m. guy?
Dude,
Are you like a 10 a.m. guy?
Dude, I will say, when I wake up really early, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m., I feel great. I think that moment, that hour where the world seems to be quiet, especially when you're dealing with the fucking bullshit of the banging. They're just banging rocks out here for no reason, because they hear we're having a podcast, so I have to bang these goddamn rocks the entire time. But when they're not doing that at 5 a.m, there's such a peace to that hour. It's like, I have a really hard time. I struggle with this sense of urgency throughout life. Like, I'm always late for nothing. You know what I mean? I have like that always of, I don't know, have to like get up and go. But if I wake up at 5, I literally know that I can give myself that hour or two of like kind of doing nothing and have like that stillness to me. I don't do it often, but every time I do it, I'm like, really wish I could do this more often.
Yeah.
I normally wake up, I try to get 8 hours, so like 7 to 8 o'clock. But I do find myself sometimes slipping, and I'm like, damn, I woke up at 9 o'clock today. I hate myself. So for me, like, I don't want to fall prey to like, I could do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Because then you start slipping into like this 9 o'clock becomes 10, and then you're slow in the morning, and now it's 12 o'clock, and you're finally going to the gym, and you miss the call or you miss an email, and then you're playing catch up, and then your day's over, and you're like, well, let me try again, and I'm gonna do better tomorrow.
Yeah. I think also, I mean, me personally, I think there's this culture of like getting up super early is like makes you a better person, or like makes you like more successful. I respect the shit out of it, but also you can, like, I'm not saying you necessarily, but anyone can, if they want to sleep till 9 and they wake up and they're productive as shit. Yeah. Like, so long as you're productive, you work hard, like, and you're not sleeping till noon, right? Because it's half your day. I'm like, I don't think it really matters when you wake up, what, like your schedule. Like, again, I think a lot of the culture, which I respect, are like, people don't drink anymore, especially Gen Z, which we've talked about. That's down big time on drinking. And like, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. Like, I saw a social media clip that was rolling around that was like, if you're in your 20s and you're starting a business and you don't know what to do first, cut alcohol. And I'm like,
why?
Fuck that. Like, I'm not a huge drinker, right? And like here and there, whatever, but cut it. Like, whatever you're going to do with your life, whatever your schedule is, whatever you want to do in your free time, whether you're going to drink or smoke or whatever it is, like, so long as you're productive, you're a good person, and you work hard towards something, like, what you do in your free time, again, let's not get crazy, right? Like, with anything super illegal.
We're not condoning inappropriate
Yes,
behavior,
of course.
I
but like, and like on the clock, shouldn't be doing any of that, which I believe in. But man, like, just show up to work fucking hard. If you have time off, take your time off, do what you got to do, get back to work, and just fucking go.
You know what I think it is, man? I think it's people, the younger generation especially, and even guys our age, they struggle with feeling a sense of purpose and a sense of progress. And so when you do things like as simple as making your bed or waking up early or cutting out sugar and alcohol, at least you can start your checklist, right? You have your checklist built in. You know what makes you feel a sense of purpose and what progress looks like to you. But for the guys and girls that are flatlined, making your bed or cutting out alcohol for the week, that's like, okay, I did something. And now I can snowball that into other things.
That's fair.
So I think if that's what you need a kick in the ass, you need to make your bed every morning, or you got to wake up at 6 a.m, fine. Right. Don't make it seem like you have to be doing these things in order to be successful.
Correct.
That's not how this stuff works.
I think that's well put. I agree. Like, if you're going to go out on a Wednesday and you're going to wake up and be groggy, it's going to affect your work.
Exactly.
On a Thursday, maybe might not be best for your career. But other than that, like, what you do in your free time is, you know, you're going to do what you're going to do. Just show up, work hard, and be 100% for when you're working.
Well, you mentioned it before, like, it's self-awareness, right?
Yeah.
It's the self-awareness to know I need to wake up at 5, not for anybody else, but for me to feel good about myself to lead it through the day. Whereas you could have a 9 o'clock call and wake up at 8:30, you're ready to go.
Right.
You don't need that hour and a half of sitting there and meditating and reflecting on yesterday and thinking about today. You're getting up and going.
Yep.
It also helps to be fucking busy.
Oh, yeah.
When you have a lot of things going on, it's easier again to get up and go versus the guys that are like, I gotta find things to do now today. Those are the worst days in the world.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the gifts about working for a company like Slate, whether you're a co-founder or an intern or anything in between, is there's always shit that needs to get done. And if people ever feel like they don't have something to do, then they're talking to their manager, they're finding something to do, because everything can be improved. At the very least, doing research. Like, on our business, on other businesses, like, what can we learn from ourselves, from our history? What can we look at in the future? What can we learn from others? And how can we apply that to our business? There is always something to do to improve our business.
What would you say your level of overall contentment is right now? And how often do you reflect on the early days of Slate?
I think that we've been very fortunate to build something that a lot of people enjoy consuming, and that resonates with a lot of people. I think you can just see it. Obviously, their sales figures, their repeat number figures. Like, once you get into a grocery store or a mass store like Target, Walmart, it's great, but you got to make sure people are coming back for more. And I think that we've done a good job of putting together a strategy, a brand, and products that people enjoy. Josh and I talk a lot about NLB, never look back. But every once in a while, like on a weekend, it's like, or we're just watching that Shark Tank clip. We've definitely come a long way. But I think the goal is in another 5-6 years, we're looking back on conversations like this and saying we've come a long way since then too. Yeah. So I think there's a fine line between being obviously not disappointed, like being content with what we've built, but it doesn't deter us from wanting to build more, being determined and being disciplined towards that future and knowing that we've had a little bit of success.
Do you personally operate better or fueled by fear or excitement?
Excitement.
Yeah, I can tell.
I mean, no fear. Like in business, just dive in and like the mentality of back against the wall at all times and fighting, where you're still going to make smart decisions, right? Especially when things are going good, and that mentality sometimes you got to break a little bit. But I think it's excitement of you got to dive in, no fear, and that doesn't mean take a big bet and risk it all, right? It's not like you go to the casino, you make a little bit of money, and then you're like, F it, like all on roulette. But I think it's the excitement, and I think what excites me and Josh, and honestly the rest of our team, is just building a good business.
Yeah.
Like just building a very good business and just having a great business, whether that's the products, the brand, knowing we all put together the strategy that is working and there are going to be things that don't work and we adjust like that, making adjustments, improvements that resonate with people and you can tangibly see it, I think is very fun and exciting. And that's what drives us. Yeah. There are obviously other things, like there's monetary things with any business, but I think it's more just like good business is fun.
Yeah. It also matters, I would assume, who you have around you. You know, if you, and I think that's kind of like just ingrained in you if you are a fear-based or excitement-based operator. And if you did lean more towards the fear-based person, but you had a team of guys who are like, yo, like this is, we're already doing great things. Let's get excited about the future and not fearful that it's going to end one day. It could skew you that way, but the opposite could also be true. If you're always with the doomsday preppers and you're like, this could end in any moment, you're probably then going to be like, holy shit, I got to start operating back against the wall.
I would say it's probably if you're a doomsday operator, the startup industry probably isn't for you because you're any business. I mean, you can be freaking Blockbuster and get taken down by Netflix. You can be a startup that launched 15 minutes ago and get taken down by a big dog. Yeah. Any business, like we talk a lot about, or not a lot, but Josh and I sometimes talk about the infinite game of business, where it's not like there's a Super Bowl, you win, you're losing, you're out. Like maybe when you sell the company, kind of, but still like that business could then die tomorrow if you sell your company and then it gets torpedoed by the acquirer. Like, is that what you really want in life?
Yeah.
Like, again, everyone's different, but business is forever. Right. There are ups and there's downs, but like, it's not like you've won the Super Bowl, you can walk away and like, that's the end of the game. Like a business goes on forever. And so I think operating with the fear of doomsday, you always have to take it into a consideration, but man, you just got to do the best you can and not let the outside pressure you too much or make you too scared to just do what you believe is best. And your decision is going to come from instinct. It's going to come from information that you've learned too.
Well, I think that's why you feel like it's infinite, because you operate on excitement and not fear. And also fear takes the fun out of it. Like, what are you fucking doing this for? If you're gonna be afraid the entire time, and then when you exit or sell or whatever, you're like, thank God that's over.
Why do it?
Why do it?
Yeah.
What was the point the entire time?
There's so many ways to make money in this world. Like,
starting a milk company may not be like, what is for you.
Oh yeah. Starting any company, if like it's growing a high growth consumer business, there's a lot of risk at all times.
What is the specific most exciting moment you've had building Slate?
That's a good question. I mean, there have been some acceptances into certain retailers that we went in, we gave the pitch, and after, like, we knew we crushed it, like did a great job. It just made sense. It worked. And then after, when you get that email that you're getting this much distribution in this many stores, you start doing a little bit of math and you're like, that's a fat PO.
Yeah.
Like that's a big one. And that's going to be here to stay. I think there have been a few of those that have been very exciting.
Who was the first?
So we launched November 12th, 2019 into Whole Foods in the Northeast, or call it New England, Roach Brothers in Massachusetts, Harris Teeter up and down the East Coast, like Carolinas mostly, and then Central Market, which is about 11 stores in Texas. So those were the first ever. I think the first time we saw the product was on the shelf was either at Whole Foods or Roach Brothers in Boston, Mass.
And that was like your most exciting moment of like, wow, this is going to be a big one. Or the first one you're saying?
That was probably that moment when it became real. Because so what we did, there's actually photos where we wrapped White Claw cans in Slate branding and put them on the shelves of Whole Foods and took photos.
That's hilarious.
And then a year later, this was November 2018 that we took the photos. And then November 2019. We went in and we were accepted on the shelf, and our cans, the same flavors, were in the exact same spots as the photo.
That's great.
And that was a cool moment of like, all right, this thing's real. And I think even today, like we visualize what we're going to look like on shelf. And then when it's on shelf, again, got to make it work, got to market it, got to sell through. We got a team that goes into the stores and drives the sale. But seeing it on the shelf of new retailers, new flavors, I think is always an exciting moment where that's the moment you have the opportunity. Right.
See, you visualize, you do these things.
I visualize all the time.
You do.
In terms of like true meditation, I'm like, I don't do that. Or journaling, but visualization is I think essential to who I am. I think it's my mom early on, like visualize the ball going in the hoop, like sports, definitely visualizing and seeing what it's going to look like is key.
You're always stepping into that future version of yourself.
Yeah.
So it feels real.
Yes.
So it's not like, holy shit, this is actually happening.
Right. And I think you have to, because also if you visualize it and it doesn't fit for whatever reason, like probably got to make it change.
That's a really good point too. Is like, man, this doesn't feel the way I thought it would feel.
Right.
Something's got to be off here.
Yep.
Because maybe like the results of what the reality is, versus the results of what you thought the reality was going to be, are going to be two very different things.
Right.
What was like? Who was the first person to cut an actual check into Slate, other than the crowdfunding?
So, we are the investor we were talking about on Shark Tank. His name's Stu Klain. We didn't say it on the show. He can't make it up. The story is Josh met him on a golf course. Josh was chipping, and Stu comes up and is like, Josh is a great golfer. I'll paraphrase, said, how are you doing that? He spoke with a few other words.
Sure.
And then they started chatting, and Stu said, let me know when you have the next Facebook. Like, Josh, great salesperson, great talker. And Josh reached back out to Stu and said, I got something for you. It's not Facebook, though. We sat with him at a country club in Massachusetts, like drinking whiskey out of a movie. And he was like, fucking milk, like get out of here. And kept chatting, and one thing leads to another. And Stu joined the team, and he was one of the first couple investors. I think he might have been second actually, but the first investor was actually the person I spoke with at the Flower Cafe on October 5th of 2017. That was like, you should look into beverage companies. Put in a small check in June of 2018 to allow us to do our formulation.
What's a small check? Can you tell us?
Back then, I mean, less than 25.
Wow.
Less than 25K. Yeah, just to get started.
And do you use the same valuation that you used on Shark Tank for that check?
It could have been.
Around there.
It could have been. Yeah.
Pretty big difference between what they're fundraising for now.
Yeah. Business has grown a little bit.
That's a good thing.
Yeah.
Those moments I feel like that. There's nothing better than like that first check. You're like, wait, you're really investing in me?
Well, I think also
sure?
at that time we were like, we did everything we could. We came up with a concept for the brand. We had an investor deck. Like we spent months researching the market. This is why there's an opportunity, even though white milk is dying at the time, which it was. Now white milk is coming back with a vengeance. Yeah. Oh, I mean, we kind of always knew.
Yeah.
We always had a little hunch. Right. But I had this whole investor deck, and we tried to make product. We went to Stop and Shop in Brighton, Mass, and bought a bunch of ingredients and blended it all together and tried to make the first iteration of the product. And that's when we realized, Josh and I were like we need help. And so we interviewed flavor houses, formulation teams, and found a formulation team we liked, and we raised a little bit of money and basically just paid for our formulation. Was the first check we ever raised.
That was the first check. Got it. Okay. Let's fast forward to now. We just closed out your A round?
Series B.
Your Series B round?
Yep.
Well, give me the details for that round.
So Series B literally just closed. We raised $22 million.
Wow.
Yes. $22 million. It was led by the co-founders of Yasso Frozen Greek Yogurt.
Okay.
Drew Harrington and Amanda Klein. They big believers in the brand and great partners.
Awesome.
Some other investors in the round were Max Crosby, Mike Jasecki, Cavender Twins, Ice Spice. What? I was going to leave you for last. Wait, actually, I wrote down the list to make sure I didn't
please do. Go ahead. Those are some big names.
Yeah. So we got the Cav Twins, Mike G, an Asian at UTA. We got Sean Johnson East and Andrew East. Mm-hmm. John Wall.
Nice.
Diplo.
Oh, really?
Diplo came in.
Hell yeah.
Yep. Ryan Tedder, lead singer of One Republic. Jonah Hill.
Nice.
And his business partner, Matt Dines.
That's awesome.
Yeah. We have Max Lugavere, who's an influencer. Jen Cohen, who's near and dear to my heart, also an influencer. And last but not least, Johnny Drinks.
Let's go.
So $22 million Series B. Great people and excited to grow.
That's so cool, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And this is, so for people that don't understand how fundraising goes, Series B is your 4th round or 5th round fundraising right now.
So it's a little unique.
Give them like a layman's terms what it looks like from like pre-seed to
Yeah. So it's a little unique where pre-seed would technically be like before you launch. A seed round, and again, it's not formally defined, but
Sure.
a seed round would be kind of like as you're launching. And like maybe just pre-launch, but maybe just after you launch. So think about like sprouting, right? Like your company's sprouting. So pre-seed, you're in the dirt. Like seed round, company's sprouting. That's how I think about it. Okay. Series A would be more like fuel growth. We actually did what we call like a Series A2 round. So something in between that Series A and a Series B. And then we just raised a Series B, which is, it just goes A, B, C, D. And each round, again, it could be 2 months after the A round. It could be 8 months. It's not really necessarily a timeline, but the idea is it just continues to fuel growth.
Now, are your goals to fundraise again?
I would say at this point, we don't know.
Oh.
I would say right now, the company is the strategy right now. We're trying to determine the best path forward. So we don't rule anything out. I think right now we're going to take this $22 million investment, some of the partners that we have, and just build.
Yeah.
And the strategy can always change.
Got it. Okay. So right now, you don't see yourselves having to fundraise again, but you never know.
Yeah. I mean, I think we're not going to rule anything out. We're still discussing the strategy, exactly what we want to do. But we'll see.
Can you share the valuation?
I can't.
I can. It's okay. So that's why then are some businesses able to disclose that publicly? Like obviously I know it because I'm an investor.
Yep.
And then you guys, are you choosing not to, or there's legal reasons why you can't?
A little bit of everything.
Okay.
I think the way that we operate is the people that are a part of the business, we obviously want them to know what's going on. But I think that we try to come up when we have something to say and talk. And like, obviously you and I chat all the time and like, I want to talk about the round with you. But I think otherwise we just try to keep our heads down and just build. And when people need to know something, we'll let them know. But otherwise we just try to stay focused on us.
So you don't think there's any benefit to having like some big PR campaign, like Slate raises 22 million at a blank valuation, expects to do this in numbers?
I think that, I don't think in terms, like maybe if you're going into an exit, like there could be some things
that makes sense.
but
Like
also
a poppy
like,
at the very end.
yeah,
Stuff like that.
and like, I don't know, disclosing valuation definitely can help with buzz, especially if it's a very high valuation. And sometimes in a low valuation, it can just make people think that it was just an investor friendly deal. Not to like Slate that's not part of the reason why we're not disclosing. Yeah. But I think every founder, every company just has a different philosophy. And for us, I think that talking about some of the people involved, where these are people that are investors in the company that are prideful in it, like Jonah Hill and Matt Dines drink Slate often, like great partners. And for us, it's tunnel vision focus on us and keeping information to those who need to hear it.
Is it potentially like privacy for them out of respect for guys like maybe they don't want their investments disclosed and what they're really doing, or you're not even thinking about that?
No, well, I think that we also have other investors that like prefer not to be disclosed, which we also, every single person that we talk about as an investor, we always make sure it's okay that we can publicly talk about it.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I didn't ask you. Is it okay? Like,
I don't know. Joe, how do we feel about that? Should we close the part out that I'm invested? No, I love it, dude. I have so much, I'm so excited and proud of what you guys are doing. And like you said, you wake up excited. I get a piece of that when I hear stuff like that, because there's so much going on to build a business. It's so overwhelming. But if you boil it back down, and maybe this is what you do on overwhelming days, it's just sell cans. Like all I have to do in my job of being part of the team is talk about Slate and get somebody to buy a can. If somebody DMs me and says, and they take a picture that say influenced by John, I'm like, that's a win for the day. And that makes me feel satisfied. So I love being a part of really cool brands. And that's why we don't do this with too many people. It's a very honorable thing that you guys even reach out to us and give us the opportunity. And I remember when I was fundraising, which by the way is very different than how Manny was fundraising, right? I was fundraising and eventually, I don't like the use the word fail, but if you were to, you know, and we had a whole podcast about that, but I had to freeze operations and stop working on the startup and had to give money back and whatever. And I remember one time at the very end when I wasn't feeling sure about the brand and I felt like I was begging for money. That should have been a red flag for me. And the guy said, you know, you did really well pitching and I just want to thank you for the opportunity. And in my mind, I was like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, I'm asking you for money. And then it clicked. Like, wait, though, this is a mutual thing. We're both benefiting or should be benefiting here by doing business together. And my whole mindset shifted. So when I say to you, like, dude, thank you for the opportunity to get involved, I genuinely mean that.
Yeah.
And I know you feel the same way to me. Thank you for the opportunity to working with you guys. You know?
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. And no, every single person that I think invests in Slate has a similar mindset where they're not feeling like they're doing us a favor.
Exactly.
Right? Maybe early on, but man, like there are no handouts in this world. Like people that invest in Slate, like we believe people should be invested in because they believe in the brand, the product, the strategy, the people, and been fortunate to find a lot of those people.
So maybe that's another good piece of advice for founders is never operate on any one side. I never operate on like, I'm giving you a handout here, you better invest. And also don't operate on like the please, please, please mindset of I need your money.
Right.
You know,
because I mean, it creates a power imbalance, right? Because also if you're begging for money and someone gives you money, probably not going to be on the best terms.
Correct. Give us again. Let's talk investors for dummies, right? This is a good granular podcast. I'm an investor in Slate, right? I invested $100 into Slate. Talk me through what deal terms could look like and what potential for me to make money is eventually. What are the potential outcomes of a startup?
All right, well, just to clarify, you invested a little bit more than $100.
I did, correct. Yeah.
So it wasn't. This was a hypothetical.
Right,
You invested $100.
Correct.
So I mean, at a very high level, it can be very complex. But at a very high level, there's a valuation of a company, right? So let's say you invested $100 at $1 million valuation. If the company then one day sells for $10 million, that would be at 10x. Right, so you would 10x your money. You have taxes. There are other pieces of information that go into that. But then also, the more money that we raise, the more you'll be diluted. So think about a company as a pizza, right? When you invest $100, we're not giving you a slice of the pizza. We're making that. We're adding that $100 worth of shares to the pizza. So then everyone else is getting slightly diluted. So that's why if you're raising $5 million on a $10 million valuation, your post-money valuation is actually going to be $15 million. You're not giving away half the company. You're giving away a third of the company. So a lot of people...
Because a third of that company is $5 million now.
Out of $15 million, right? So that's why you hear pre-money valuation, which is at the beginning of the round. The post-money valuation will be just taking into account all of the dollars that were invested. And that's how you can account for the dilution that you're taking on.
So in my example, I wrote a $100 check to you. The company is now worth 10x what it once was. Is it fair for me to say I am now worth 10x that $100? My investment is worth $1,000 right now?
Depending on how much money the company raised after your investment.
After my investment in the same round?
The same round, you'll still get diluted, correct? Because you think about it, like even you're technically diluting yourself when you invest in a company too. You follow me? Because like in my first example, if there's a company's worth $10 million, you invest $5 million, the post-money valuation is $15 million. You're technically diluting yourself from 50% ownership to 33% ownership. Right. But that's just how investing works. That's how business works, unless you're selling a piece of the company, which is different than fundraising.
So give me a drastic example of, say, I wrote a $100 check into this $1 million valued round, right? Let's say somebody comes in and writes a $100,000 check. So they're taking 10% of this round. Where does my valuation now go from what would be a percent?
So your post money, if that was the total round, then the company ended up raising or selling for $1,010. What was it? $100,000? $10 million, $100,000, and $100.
Right.
Then that post money valuation, you would be able to determine how much your payout would be based on the post money of the total raised.
Right. Because now that $100,000 adds into the valuation.
Correct.
It's not just $100,000 anymore.
Correct.
Or it's not just $1 million anymore. It's $1.1 million.
Correct.
And so now my 100 is based on the $1.1 million.
Correct.
Not based on the million.
Correct. And that's where a lot of, especially founders early on, they often raise on convertible notes. And like there's this theory calling like that was what's called like stacking notes, where you raise on a bunch of convertible notes, but because they haven't technically converted yet, there's been no dilution to anyone. And so if you raise hundreds of thousands or millions or tens of millions of dollars on convertible notes, you're diluting the shit out of yourself and you don't really realize. So then when the valuation's actually set, you're probably going to own a lot less of that company than you otherwise would.
As the founder.
All the common shareholders, which are typically founders or any employees.
Okay. So but that's why you do it, right? You're kind of giving us a discount or an extra value add as being early stage investors,
yes.
Right?
I think convertible notes believer in, right? And what a convertible note is, it's basically like a promissory note where we don't know what the valuation is today. We can't agree on it, or it's impossible to tell. Let's just set a cap on what the valuation will be. And in the future, let's also give you a discount if the valuation is less than the cap, right? So like, let's call it a $10 million cap. Right. So if someone raises $1 million early on, just starting up on a $10 million cap, that would be high for a new company. But let's just use it for shits and gigs. Yeah. Then in the future, if there's an equity round, like a true financing round where a valuation is set by an investor and the co-founders combined, if that round is then at 20 million, that's the pre-money valuation, everyone on that convertible note will have their valuation just be 10 million because that's the cap. It doesn't go north of the cap.
Would that be considered you're raising on a post-money valuation?
The post-money valuation would just be how much you raise
plus
added to the money that you've already raised, the pre-money, correct.
All right, so you're never raising on a post-money, like that's not a thing.
Correct. I mean, you can, sometimes what investors will do is they will value the company on an annualized revenue basis on post money, which is favorable for them, which
right, because then I'm accounting for the extra dollars I'm putting in.
Correct.
If I came to you and said, hey, I know you're valuing at 1 million, but I'm going to write a check as if you're valued at 1.1, right? Because then I'm kind of accounting for the money I'm putting in.
I didn't really follow that.
If I were to come into this hypothetical round of it being worth $1 million and I have a $100,000 check, I'm saying to you really the value of this round is 1.1 million, right? Would that make sense? Or would that not really change? That
wouldn't change anything,
right? Because I'm still right. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I think the key is valuations are all over the board. There are different types of ways to fundraise in companies. At the end of the day, a valuation is just what the investors and the founders and company agree upon. Like you can have an idea, like I'm seeing these AI companies raising on tens of billions of dollars on a person. Right. And then you have companies out there that are cranking, that are getting low valuations. Like it's just, the market's the market.
I think, to dumb this stuff down, because it is complex, is like when you invest in a startup, you are immediately diluting that round because you're adding value into that hypothetical round.
You're diluting everyone in the company. But again, it's going to happen with any investment. Of course. And it's not something to shy away from.
Right.
By any means. But it's just, that's why a lot of people that don't understand dilution and they see a company that's raising $100 million and that's like exciting, which is great. But you're like, damn, the core team and previous investors are taking on a lot of dilution there. But if the company's going to sell for billions, like, it doesn't matter. Right.
But
there's a balance.
We could talk about this so long. So guys, in the comment section, if you guys want to hear a whole investing 101 into startups, we'll have a whole separate podcast. Right. Last question I have for this is, I would assume like there's 4 major outcomes that can happen to a startup. What would you consider those to be?
Fail. Lifelong business.
Like going public?
No, I mean, you can go public, or you can we'll say going public, exit, or I would say staying private forever and just coasts, right?
Okay.
What were yours for?
My 4th one was like a joint venture, like maybe not a sale to another company, but like some sort of different business deal or proposal that we're partnering up.
That could happen. Yeah, JVs happen, so that could be a 5th. Yeah.
Interesting that people could stay private and never. Yeah, but of course.
I mean, Chobani, right? You got Chobani. You got, I'm assuming like a Sargento cheese. Like I don't even like. There are probably a ton out there that just have stayed private and are just family owned.
Okay, here, and again, I told you we were going to stop talking about this, but I am so intrigued by it. If you're an investor in Chobani, let's say, that stays private forever, when am I ever receiving my profit, I guess?
Yeah, so I don't know how Chobani does it, but large companies that have been around for a while that are privately owned will pay out what are called dividends. And so you'll get quarterly, biannually, annual payments that have to do with your ownership percentage.
God, and now you determine how much that dividend is?
Different from company to company.
I could request?
No. You would know going into the deal, right? And like it would be this. It's not like Johnny gets $5 million, investor X gets $2 million, it would be determined by your ownership in the company and or your agreement with that company. But the idea is if you're investing in a company that has a lot of money and has had a lot of money for a long time, unless, I mean, maybe they're just planning on doing something with it and investing it back in the company, but there are a lot of different levers you can pull in business to make sure that people are profiting and being rewarded for being a part of a company that's doing very well.
Right. It seems like the shiny toy would be like a gigantic exit, though.
Right. Or an IPO.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. Very interesting, man. Yes.
Yeah.
I learned a little more today.
Yeah.
What's next for Slate? We got new flavors coming out. Give me all the juice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm looking for strawberry again, man. I had strawberry all the time.
Strawberry is coming back shortly.
Yes.
Yeah. We'll let you know when it's back.
Good.
We are launching the 42 gram ultras nationwide. We have a lot of distribution coming online, probably like, I don't know, 30,000 points of distribution.
It's insane.
Yeah, a lot of distribution coming online. And a point of distribution would be like a facing or a new product at a retailer.
Sure.
And man, we got to execute in stores. Like we're launching all this stuff. It's exciting, but a launch in a store is an opportunity. And then it's up to us to market it, to be in the stores, to make sure it sells. If it's not selling, which early data has been strong.
Good.
People seem, I mean, I love the products. I think you love the products.
Yeah.
People love the brand, which is great. Again, always need to build, but I think it's focusing on making sure that it works.
Yeah. So you won't be telling us what's coming next.
We have a salted caramel.
Nice. See, this is what we're looking for, guys.
Salted caramel.
You finally gave it to us.
42 gram.
Hell yeah.
That is launching shortly.
Nice.
And that we also have a 30 gram version that's going to be in select stores of the salted caramel.
All right.
And it is great.
Last question. What is your favorite flavor? And don't give me the bullshit. They're all my babies. I want to hear your favorite flavor. You're going to grab, you have this gigantic Slate fridge, every flavor in it. Which can are you grabbing?
So the company started.
Here he goes.
With the classic chocolate 20 gram.
I know what it started with.
The classic chocolate. And like, this is like a grown up version of the classic chocolate 20 gram. But I mean, I'm like, they're all so good. It depends on my mood right now. Like the classic chocolate or the 42 chocolate is the one that I'm drinking.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tend to agree. Honestly, if I'm closing my eyes grabbing one, I'm going dark chocolate or milk chocolate, or this one is a sleeper. I forget about this a lot. And I forgot I had this in my fridge and I'm hyped when I see it. So
yeah, people love the sweet cream.
Obviously, best luck.
Thank
Hopefully
you.
I get to be a part of the continued journey and success of the brand. That's it. Where can they find? Fucking everywhere. Where can't they find this shit?
Yeah. Most grocery stores, Walmart, Target, slatemilk.com, live product locator, or on Amazon.
Very cool.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on.
All right. Thanks, brother.
Appreciate that, guys.
Appreciate it.
Like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Cheers.